Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This is The Vent, and we've moved our time from Sundays to Wednesdays now at 10:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I am so privileged to have Mr. DJ Gonzo, Sam, in the house tonight, as always with me. And thank you so much, Sam, for being here.
No problem.
And hopefully everybody will get adjusted to our new time, which has actually worked out quite well, minus some late starts
All the
today.
blab issues.
Right. But that's okay. So, Sam, how are you?
I'm good. I've been on almost camera all day today. So from 12:20 in the afternoon, my time,
Wow.
till 12:30, 12 hours straight. So it's a lot of on camera time.
I don't know how you do it, but you do that all the time. That's just you, right?
Those today.
Well, I'm very, very grateful that you are here with us tonight. Still going. Hopefully this is the last.
Oh, this is the last one for the night. Yeah. No, I won't do another one after this.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but no, I'm good.
Yeah, well, it does take a lot out of you. I mean, constantly going and interacting. I do like having all my shows though on the same day, so it's turned out to be good. Because then that means like just once a week I got to do it, and then I don't know, it's nice to have everything back to back, even though it's a little bit crazy, especially with all the challenges that we're working through with technical difficulties. So, but gotta love it. It's the process.
It is a process. I know like tonight I had 3, you had 3. Tomorrow I have 1 that I know of. Friday I have 2. Saturday I may have 1 special one. So
Yeah. Well, you're a trooper, like I always say.
well, I actually got a hold of the people that done Ricky Prime's live show, and I was like, yo, if you need any help with anything, it's boring sitting around doing nothing. So if you need my help, just let me know. And so we were supposed to start at 11 today instead of 12:20.
Oh no.
And I overslept by an hour, well, less than an hour. But we went into it 12:20, went straight through the whole day. We were testing audio, testing video, testing graphics, you name it, we were doing it. And I found out that I could broadcast from my computer's program straight to Facebook. So
Wow.
that's a plus.
Awesome. I still don't understand all that, but
yeah, like apparently I could broadcast straight to event pages that are set up, and I didn't know this until today. So
like in Facebook, if you set up an event
or any events that I say I'm going to or maybe going to, I could broadcast to that page.
Wow, that's cool. Earlier on the first show I did, Soul Search, Teresa was talking about how she was experimenting with Zoom today, but she was having a little bit of technical problems as well.
Tell her to get a hold of me. I could teach her some stuff on Zoom.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to learn. Like, mainly I was brought in to help other people with the issues if they ever had to experience anything. But our first broadcast, they had 4 different people being interviewed. So within an hour and some time, we went through 4 different people, and I was like one of the main people in the background doing all the work. So it was fun. Hi, Amanda White.
So yeah, I was okay. I have something to vent about, which I think I handled it pretty well. I was like freaking out earlier. I was like, Sam, where are you? Because like I so didn't want to accept those trolls on, but I didn't want to discriminate anyone, and I wasn't for sure. But I thought that was hilarious. Like I think they think that they're like fucking with us or something. I don't know, but I just think it's hilarious. Like how little kiddish. Like, are we still in high school here? Like,
Apparently they are.
well, it's just like what's so cool about the word nigger? I mean, everybody, that's like already long. Aren't they brilliant enough to come up with something more creative? Like, come on, you guys, get with it.
Maybe their parents weren't there enough to teach them right from wrong, so that's why they're acting out now that they're older and can get away with it.
That's a good point.
So,
But yeah, it was funny because poor Adam, he's never had that happen to him before. He's like, "What's going on?"
really, Adam's never had that happen.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think I'm the only show that he does besides like private blabs. But and then he's on Periscope and stuff, and like I guess when that happens, you just kick him off, and then I don't know, they don't come back. Blab, you have to do it every single time that they're in a show.
Yep, every single time they come into the show, like if they wanted to come in here, they could.
Yeah. So. And Ellis is back. Hi, Ellis.
So it's one of those things when it comes to trolls, like I got to the points where I wouldn't let them on camera, but if they wanted to stay inside the chat, they could. But if they said anything inappropriately wrong or anything like that, I'll instantly delete it from the chat. I'll even tell them, you could troll all you want. The thing is, I'm not going to be part of it. It doesn't bother me, you know? So trolling against another troll is fun.
Well, I don't know. I think it's funny in the aspect of like I'm amused by it. Like it doesn't bug me at all either. I'm just like, wow, like people really like, of course, I mean everybody's different, but that's just crazy that people don't have anything else better to do than to come on when people are a little bit serious or have something going on that they're talking about, and then just making a complete idiot of themselves. But I guess that's their thing. So it is an interesting expression, huh, Alice? But having different people makes the world go round. So.
But also when it comes to trolls, though, there's the nice ones that are like cool, and then there's the ones like from earlier tonight. They just are childish and don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care about consequence or anything like that, or they choose to not care until something bad happens to them. So that's when they'll probably go crying to mommy and daddy. Oh, blah 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 blah.
Right. Yeah.
So,
but I really like, and if anybody watches this replay, if you're a troll, and I respect that you do your troll thing, okay, but be more creative. Come on, like, what the heck? I don't know. If I was a troll, I would be way more creative. Or like the that one guy, Danny Baloney or whatever, he was so cool. Like he was respectable. He was really cool. Like he came on and he didn't like say anything outlandish or rude or obnoxious. And he like explained to us like the psychology behind it. Like I really appreciated that because I wanted to understand that point of view and, just kind of get a better perspective on it because it's all new to me, but I think it's cool when, and what he was saying makes sense because he was going into the fact that the psychology behind it is when you put somebody and make them uncomfortable outside of their element, like who knows who's real on social media or on the camera all the time anyways, it could all be a front, it could be a persona, it could be whatever. And he likes to push that button in people to get them to see their real side because I guess, when we get upset and vulnerable, it shows, in certain ways. And he said he just does that for him, which I appreciated. And he was just being straightforward and honest,
It shows who they are when you get them to a breaking point because they could be the nicest person in the world. And then if you get them to that breaking point, they could just go crazy on you. Yeah. And you wouldn't think that side of them would ever exist until they get to that breaking point, which a lot of trolls do. They want to overcome. They want to empower themselves by making them break or something. And at the end of the day, it's pointless. It's childish. It's dumb. It makes no sense. It makes sense to the trolls because they want to get them to that level. But when it gets down to it,
Well,
they wasted everybody's time by trolling them in the first place.
and what form of empowerment is that? You know, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know.
Is it fun to get someone upset for like 10 seconds, 10 minutes? I mean, there's still...
I guess we have to keep in mind that there are people that feel so bad about themselves that really is the only thing that makes them happy and feel, like a functioning person, I guess. I don't know. But everybody's on their own journey. Alice, do you want to come back on? What were you going to say, Sam?
Everybody is on their own journey. And the people who are on the right journey know the right things. They won't go around trolling everyone.
Right.
Or trolling people.
Beauty.
They'll actually go out there and do something to make themselves better instead of making somebody else's life horrible.
Absolutely. Props to you. Can you get Ellis? I'm giving you props. Too busy. Just kidding. You got him. That was beautifully stated. Did you hear that, Ellis?
I did. Yeah, that was very insightful. Yeah.
What is your take on all this stuff?
On trolling?
Yeah.
It's interesting because I've been more interested in and spending more time in philosophy and religion and things like that. And one of the concepts is the concept of accepting everyone, and that means accepting people that do some pretty awful things.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought behind, well, you don't have to condone their actions, but as a person, like you were saying, you try to find a place where you can have some compassion for whatever they're going through in their lives that causes them to behave in a certain way that is, how society would label it as being destructive or not contributing to society or just causing other people upset, like the troll in the last show that you were on. I mean, you were so unaffected by it. It was really enlightening for me to experience that, because I know there's a certain button that gets pushed in me, and then I had to think about that. Why is that button there?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a place for me to find a place to have compassion for them, even though I don't approve of whatever they do?
Yes, that
Right.
makes sense.
Trying to find a deeper level of, gosh, maybe this person is really living a life that is not fulfilling or not joyful. Mm-hmm. And yeah.
They go out of their ways to make other people's lives miserable when their own life is.
Right.
Well, that's just the only thing that makes sense. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's a chain reaction. Basically, if you look at it,
Yeah.
they're just making the chain longer.
Yeah.
Instead of making themselves better in some situation, in some way, they go out because they act on the way they feel, because they don't think everybody should be on like a high.
Right. Right.
So
you wonder where their pain is, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
underneath all of that behavior is a place of pain. And what is that pain for them? Is it, they're uncomfortable with other people feeling joy or other people living a life that maybe they have envy for, or that they feel they don't deserve, or, there's it's so complex about, trying to find a place to be an understanding about that and say, oh, okay, right. I get it.
Yeah. I think I like what you said a little bit ago about, if somebody says something to you or does something and it pushes a button or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think like with me, for example, if I get to that point, which is really rare actually these days, oh my gosh, it takes a lot for me to get my button pushed, but I just kind of have a deeper understanding about life in general now and people, but I wasn't like always like that. But when I get to that point, I like take a step back and I notice, okay, what is it about them? Because it's not about them, what they're doing. It's about what's inside of me. Like what's pushing my button? Like what are they doing to even get me mad? Because we're the only ones that, like, we don't control anything in life. We don't control people, places, things, situations. The only thing that we do have control of is ourselves and how we react to things. So like whenever I get to that state of like, oh, like that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Right. I like to like go deeper and be like, okay, well, what was it about that, you know, kind of made me a little bit irritated or whatnot? But
very teachable moment, right? When you try to kind of dissect, okay, there's a reaction that happened. And then if you can create that gap between reacting and understanding of what is it that is, you know, that's causing this upset in me.
Absolutely. And that's like, I think that all, again, why I'm so passionate about awareness. Like it all really stems down to being aware of yourself first, which makes you more aware in the world. And it's so important. At least it is to me.
Completely.
Hi, Dino. Dino's all trying to talk in the background. Sorry, I'll have a tangent.
I don't know if you was here when I said, like, when it comes to me and trolls, like, I don't feed into it.
Right.
Like I just, because coming from somebody that used to troll a lot, like I still do it, like on Periscope all the time. Not even gonna lie. But I do it in a fun way. I don't do it in a mean, malicious way. I have fun with it. And so when I see trolls, I don't feed into it. I don't, you know, especially if they're doing it in a negative, malicious way. Sometimes, like if you don't feed into it, they'll just go on to the next person.
Right, because they're looking for that energy to get fed into it, right? So that they can push it even further, push the envelope.
That attention.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember back months, trolls would used to come into my room and stuff like that and try to troll me all the time, and I honestly just never fed into it. But I did notice, like, when they came into the room, I said, yo, if you come in here trying to troll me, there's no way you're going to get a reaction out of me. There's no way that I'm going to feed into you guys or anything. So you guys can troll all you want. I just won't be bothered by it. And everybody else in the chat, though, like all my friends, they get tired.
They get lit, yeah.
And I go, like, I'm not going to block you from the room, but if you say anything and someone else blocks you from the room, that's not on me. That's on them. And
it's interesting because the whole thing about trolling, did it come about because there, you know, obviously there's anonymity. How do you say that word? Anonymity. And then there's no consequence, right? But I was thinking about it. It's still kind of, it's energy out there. So there has to be some sort of consequence. And what is that consequence that is either seen or unseen to the troll, you know, what they're doing? Because it just, you know, nothing exists in a vacuum. You can't just put that energy out there without something happening, right? So what is the consequence of having that energy where you're, you know, and I'm talking about negative trolling, where you're trying to hurt somebody or upset somebody or harm someone in some way. What is that consequence to them that they may not be aware of, because they're feeling like, look, I'm anonymous. I could do all this stuff. I could piss someone off. I can get I can get some sort of payoff for it. Because there's obviously some sort of payoff, maybe a feeling of power, a feeling of, hey, I can get a reaction out of somebody. But what is the negative impact upon their psyche, upon their spirit, maybe
that's a great question.
That is impacting them that they don't realize.
I think if they don't realize it at the time, it comes back. I mean, have you ever went through a situation where maybe you said something you shouldn't have, and then later you're like, ooh, you really realize, and it hurts. It hurts your heart because you're like, shish, like,
how
my
could I have done
gosh.
that? Right.
And I think that's how it affects everybody else. Like that's like that, because you may not know it in the moment, but it always comes back some way or another. And then you finally get it and you're like, whoa, like that was a harsh lesson. Like,
right.
I think that has to be the consequence. Otherwise, I have no clue.
Right.
Hi, Andrea. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Alice, you're just all full of awesome questions. I love it. So yeah, I'm super excited and glad that everything worked well. I was a little bit apprehensive at first. Remember Sam when I was talking to you about moving the show, and I was figuring, you know, we always have people that come in at the last minute on the gratitude show. So, and then I'm either opening up another window. Adam never really stays because he's so busy. He's on like a really tight, strict schedule. So
Yeah.
And then Sunday nights, yeah, I think it'll work better. Wednesdays. And thank God for replays, you know.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, just the fact that you're doing it and that you're completing things, that's pretty amazing. And yeah, more power to you for focusing your energy on this and actually getting things done, right?
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't do it without Sam, though. I mean, and Sam, this is our 7th show, too.
Oh, wow.
Like, finally 7. Like, okay, before I even heard about Blab, I took this course on some sort of webcast or for videoing, like live video stream. And they said you need to have all your content prepared, everything for up to 7 weeks. Because if you make it past that 7-week mark, then you're pretty much in the clear. You're good to go. You know, like just don't give up until then. And I'm really excited that I have an amazing guy like Sam for my co-host, and everybody, all you guys, like, have just been awesome. I feel so blessed and fortunate.
Yeah, there is something magical about certain milestones. Once you get past that, you've ironed out a lot of the kind of the friction, right? And now it becomes much more intuitive to do it. And I just hope you keep going.
Oh, I will.
Good.
Well, when it comes to shows in general, like I was part of a show that lasted 34 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Straight. The 35th week, it actually, like, Blab crashed hard, and it just didn't work out that week. So we're going to split it up into, like, a season thing. So season 1 is done. Season 2 is going to be probably happening. I don't know if it's going to be on Blab, but we're still going to do it somewhere.
Right, yeah.
So, and then I help out with pokers on Friday. Like, we play poker on Friday evening, which is live on another website, but it's also broadcasted on here. But we're transitioning over to Facebook Live. So it's like one of those things. And then now I'm starting to help out other places or other people on Facebook Live. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I like
including this show here. You know, we've been doing this for 7 weeks, and as long as we go, you know, I don't mind.
Yeah, you know, oh my gosh, to imagine back a few months ago that this all started just because of that one morning at 3:30 or 4 in the morning, my time. Gosh, it was probably way early your time, or in the morning your time, where a guy was having a nervous breakdown, basically on here, and like bawling his eyes out. And, like,
oh my gosh!
The other girl comes in and like steps in to comfort him, and they start kind of bickering, and she's like, "Wait, no, I'm not trying to attack you." And it was just this craziness, and I'm like sitting back, I'm like thinking like, "Huh, okay, it's like 3:34 in the morning. I've been on. It's when I attempted to do like my 24-hour Blab broadcast.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, and I was like sitting back, I'm like looking at Sam, I'm looking at this guy and this other girl, and I was like, "Wait, Sam, I don't know if." Yeah, no, you had gone out so that they could interact. You were in the background, and then JP was on, right? And I was like thinking, I'm like, this is the most valuable stuff I've seen all day after like 13 hours of being on street, well, like with minus breaks and stuff to go to the bathroom, and get something to eat. And I was like, people need like a place to vent. I'm like, the vent, okay, the vent. I'm gonna do it. And like, just even think back on that morning. And just be like, wow, like all of this has come from just that one little thought that I like was inspired to take action on. And it's crazy how like the universe just connects you with the right people when you when you have an intention and you're inspired, and you know, it's literally all just it like fits together perfectly. I love the universe. I love the law of attraction. I love you guys. You're awesome.
Had to turn off that light. It was killing my eyes.
So did you see, Ellis, that I don't know if I put the right wording or not. I wasn't able to tag you on Facebook for some reason for my post for your event in September.
Okay.
But I posted on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much. Yeah.
You're welcome. And then let's see, Andrea, do you have any feedback or anything you want to share about or talk about or?
Yeah, if you got any comments on trolls, you could talk about that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, in a weird kind of way, I kind of like, I appreciate the trolls. And it's weird because, I mean, I just have like, jumped in, trolls are interesting. Yes, they are. I just have a compassion for everybody to begin with. Like, and I can pretty much relate to almost every situation that people are going through because I've been there and done that almost. I'm not saying I've done everything because I haven't, but it's really interesting. I studied psychology in college for like 9 years, and to know that there's so much depth in humans. Like, I love studying people. That's one of the reasons why I love numerology so much. And when I started doing numerology, I was 16, so it was like 16 years ago. And just the things you learn from studying the human behavior. And then we all fit into these supposed categories of signs and numbers, and it really does make sense. It's a little bit of a deflection, yeah. I love your 777.
I'm fascinated with human behavior as well, but from a different standpoint. I've studied it, a little bit of psychology, but a lot of marketing. If you study marketing, you can really get a in-depth look at the psychology of how people make decisions and how it's just fascinating to me. I mean, I think I share your fascination with, you know, psychology and human behavior. I've just kind of taken it from a marketing standpoint to look at it that way. And I continually be just amazed at, you know, the depth of human behavior and emotion.
Yeah, it is. It's very intricate. It's funny, Andrea, you're a 7.
That makes
Sam is a
7.
7. Ellis is a 9. It's crazy because, well, Ellis, if you want me to do like a full report for you, I can, because you have more than just your life path number. You've got like your birthday number, your personality number, your attitude number, and all that. Just email me like your full name that you were born with, and the name you go by today, and then I can put it together for you.
Oh, cool.
It takes a few hours, so I might not get to it overnight, but I would love for you to be a little bit more educated in that area.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Because it is really interesting, isn't it? I mean,
I find anything that has that sort of insight is fascinating, and you know, using that as just information.
Yeah, and you know, it's not that like something you have to live by or whatever, but
of course, right.
I always like to, you know, I'm open-minded to anything, even like religion. Like I spent years, like, while my friends were off doing electives in college, I was doing like study of the New Testament, the Old Testament, like just different stuff. Like, that's the biggest dork I am. Like,
no, that's funny, because that's kind of what I'm doing now. Is I've never really studied, you know, biblical scripture, and I just had a curiosity, but I'm not, you know, not to you know, to use it in a negative, but just as for insight, to understand. I mean, because these were people that wrote these stories, and you know, understanding their behavior, what was happening in history during the time, stuff that, you know, I didn't have the insight or the depth as a young person. I just saw it as, well, here, you know, if you read the Bible, here's what it is. But there's so much texture. Why one writer of the Bible they had one agenda versus another. You know, it's really, really fascinating to me.
It is. It totally is. And it's deep. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
but I was always like, okay, I know what I feel and what I believe in, but I'm the type of person that I like to be educated about what I'm talking about. So if somebody's questioning my beliefs or whatnot, which is totally fine. And then there's lots that I didn't understand and I still don't understand. But I'll be on it, trying to understand it forever. It's just part of my journey. But I respect that we all have differences, and I like hearing the differences, the perspectives, and maybe understanding things in a way that somebody else doesn't, and then kind of helping them understand my point of view too, if they're open-minded enough to. But it doesn't mean at the end of the day I have to make a decision on, yeah, I agree with you or disagree. It's just like, thank you for enlightening me. And you know, I love it when my thinking is challenged. Like Dr. Corey, always when we talk, I mean, we'll talk for over an hour and a half on the phone, and it seems like 5 minutes, you know. And I love it because he like brings up stuff that I'm like, whoa, I'm so fascinated with. Like, tell me more about that. Like, okay, I agree, but help me understand so I can either make a decision, an educated decision for myself, you know? Yeah. Dr. Corey, he's awesome.
Dr. Corey can talk a lot. I mean, there was one night I was in a blab with him, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was trying to go to sleep, and 2 hours later, I finally was able to go to sleep. That's why, like, if anytime he comes into a room around like 1:30 or over, I can't do it.
Yeah, I just love his passion for life, and he's an amazing human being.
Well, there was one day he came into a poker room. We were playing poker, and he said the best thing to do is love your hand and then play whatever you feel. I was like,
what does that mean?
Thank you, Yoda.
And so, like, he was like, the cards in your hand, you know, you got to love them. If they were dealt to you, they were dealt to you for a purpose. I was like, I was dealt a 2 and a 3. There's no way I'm going to win.
He's like, but you'll never know. He probably said that, huh?
He was trying to say that it was meant to be. And I was like, not that hand, you know. Then I won the next hand. So
I totally get what he's saying, though. Like,
on the deeper level, right?
yeah, it's all about vibration and energy and what level of frequency are you coming from, you know?
well, me and that hand of cards were not feeling it.
So you didn't like that. So you were vibrating at a lower frequency. So hence. No, it's crazy because you can literally go down a wormhole. I mean,
Yeah.
for days. Dino and I'll stay up sometimes and we'll just go deep. And then we're like, okay, we got to go to bed. It's already 4 a.m. Like, and yes, Andrea, I love that. Trust the path. It's funny because all my personal email addresses end in 777. It's my favorite number since I'm in life past 7. And I always do 777 because in angel numbers, 777 means like, you know, angel numbers are when you see 3 or more numbers consecutively. So it means like, keep going, you're on the right path. Like you're just about there. Everything's going to come into fruition for you. So I always like that.
My number is 7, but my favorite number is 5. I've actually won over, I want to say it's $12,000 by playing the number 5 on different things. So
Awesome.
Obviously, 7's not a good lucky number for me.
Are you born on, wait, your birthday is what, April or May?
June 3rd,
June
6/3/87.
6/3. So no, that wouldn't, there's 5 aspect. Interesting. Yeah, I think like numbers are really universal in general in the world. You know, it's a universal language. But it's very interesting and intriguing. What do you think, Brandon? Oh, wait, are you still on? No. Just kidding. Talking to nobody. Yeah. So what are you guys doing this week? What are you up to this weekend?
I might take a trip with some of my old high school buddies down to Oceanside.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I just got to figure out if I can bring my dog or not. I don't want to leave her alone with.
Yeah.
So I gotta figure that out. But it was so funny because a good friend of mine that I've known for forever called me up and said, "Hey, I know you're busy with family usually, but I just, might be, late notice, but we're going to go to my friend's house that I've also known forever down in Oceanside. And I just thought I would let you know." And I said, I'm completely free for the next 2 weeks. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you should totally go. So let's figure it out." And I said, "Okay, let me see if I can figure out my dog and all that stuff." But I'm thinking about going down and just catching up with some really old friends that were really important at a certain part of my life, and just kind of connecting again.
You should do it. That is so important.
Yeah, the more that I think about it, it's like the relationships that I've had, they're just that's really the measure of a life for me that's successful, right? It's the people I've helped, the people that I've connected with on a deep level. And, it's just, I think it's something that it's important to me to do that. So I'm going to figure it out.
Awesome. Well, you'll be right in my backyard.
What do you guys got planned?
I don't know yet. Let's see. Next week, well, at my birthday, we're going out of town to our property up in the Sequoias.
Oh, nice.
For about 4 days, and then we're getting back. And then Dino's going to Mexico with one of his friends for a trip. So I won't be going to this one since it's a guy thing. So
guy's trip.
But we'll probably just be working, which we do. Which okay, and I totally take that out of context because work isn't work to us. Like it's not. It doesn't feel like it at all. But it's like
it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Creating your life, doing our hobby. I don't know. So yeah. We don't have any huge plans yet. My friend is coming in from out of town, who I've been friends with since I was in like 4th grade. So I'm not sure exactly what day we'll get together, but I think catching up with people that are important is we kind of lose sight of it as, you get busy in life and you get family and then like all that stuff. And it's really important to remember the important stuff, because at the end of the day, it's like all this stuff, that's materialistic we can't take with us when we go. And it's the memories and the love that we share that we can. So
yeah, and it's funny because these people that I know, they know kind of my history. You know what I mean? They knew me before I, became what I am today. They know kind of like the roots of who I am and the essence of it. And they're not, there's nothing to gain or nothing to lose from how they talk to you. Know what I mean? There's no agenda. It's just, we just have a history together, and it's going to be really refreshing to be able to be around that because, you don't always get that.
Right. Make sure you take pictures and be like, look, guys, look at how far we've come. You remember when?
I was going to say that too. Without pictures, that means it didn't happen. So pictures, that means it's always going to happen. And when you go to Mexico, make sure you take pictures of true, authentic Mexican food.
There you go.
And send it my way so I could get jealous.
Yeah.
My weekend's packed.
What do you
tomorrow, today, I got a broadcast, probably 2. Yeah. Friday, I got 2 broadcasts again on Facebook Live. Saturday, I got a surprise broadcast with some interesting people that I've met just within the past 5-6 hours.
Oh, wow.
So for the first time. So I know if I mention names, you guys could probably figure out who it was, but I won't mention anything.
I don't know. I'm not in the loop like you think I am.
Well, these people are kind of like famous when it comes to like periscoping or just broadcasting in general. Huh. One guy was in movies as a stuntman. So yeah.
Well, that's cool. So you've got an eventful week and weekend ahead.
It's cool building bridges with people that are new. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think at the end of the day, like that's really like human interaction, you know, like we all gain something from someone in some way, whether it's good or bad. I don't really like to use the word good or bad, but you know, whether you're learning a lesson, you know, that's going to make you grow or make you reevaluate or inspire you or make you rethink or, you know, it all plays a part in human interaction.
You know what? I forgot to vent about this earlier.
What?
So last week I lost a friend that I've known for years.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Over video games. Video games. Like legit video games. For
You're
instance,
handling it really well.
4.
I was like worried when I talked to you like last weekend on the phone. I was like, oh.
It was weird too because I was like, yo, I'm just trying to be a friend, trying to reach out to you. I know we don't talk much or anything like that, but I'm trying to be someone that's a friend to you. And this person goes around and says, well, I don't got time for friends. I was like, what do you mean you don't have time for friends? They said, I'm too worried about my gaming career. I was like, if it was a career, why are you doing it so late now? Like, I understand people can make a career out of gaming and stuff, but you've been trying at this for the past 7 years.
That's really interesting. Have you guys ever seen the movie called Whiplash? It came out like 2 years ago.
I think I have it in my archive files somewhere.
I just saw it this weekend, just by chance, and and like Tiffany says, maybe it wasn't by chance, but the theme in the movie, at least what I gathered, was when you get so focused on achieving something, you can lose your humanity. And if you haven't seen the movie, I think it's really well done, and it's about a kid who wants to become a great jazz drummer, and he goes to this really highly rated music conservatory, and the teacher there, who I think he won an Oscar for this performance, he's a pretty heavy-handed guy, and what really spoke to me was about how the pursuit of something and excluding everything else, you can really lose your humanity in that process. And at least for me, I think I'm guilty of, at least in part of my life, really being so hyper focused that I've excluded a lot of relationships and a lot of friends, and building those connections, and then it's kind of turning around as far as really valuing that now. So
yeah, I think everybody's guilty of that, especially it's just you get so focused, and I think it has to do something with being imbalanced, because you're just so caught up and serious about this one thing, and that's not balanced. I think most of the time people are entrepreneurs because of the lifestyle, and they like to call the shots and have the freedom to do what they wish to do, whatever that is. And most of the time entrepreneurs are very giving and love people to begin with. But when it gets to this sense, and I used to be like that too, when I was doing network marketing with my ex-husband, I built a downline with him of like 24,000 people, and
oh my gosh,
it was like hardcore. Like if someone wasn't my customer, even if it was my family, I'm like, I'm not talking to you anymore. Like, you're not supporting my business. See ya. Like, it was just like that harsh. And like, I would look back now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I was like that. But that's just how it was. And that was completely unbalanced. And it was, you can't have all your eggs in one basket.
But if you think about it, that archetype is out there for us to see and witness, and then we really buy into it, right? Because we see, here's is what success means, and this is the sacrifice you have to give in order to achieve it. Mm-hmm. So we really buy into it, and we're thinking, well, I want to pay that price, and if I'm, I want to be worthy of achieving the success. And then when you see kind of the reality of that, and then hopefully you have examples of people that achieve success, but in a healthier more, holistic, and they just seem happier. And I don't know if you follow Richard Branson, but that guy just always seems to be having
Yeah.
fun, right? He's just like, there's something different about him compared to other entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs, that's such a broad label, but you can see how some people are being destroyed by it and some people are being enlightened and really serving the world by it. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. And I'm very fascinated with people that are able to do that, and I try to adopt that into how I go about my life, because my initial symbol of that is, you exclude everything else in pursuit of the goal, and nothing else matters.
Yeah, and that's not, I mean, true success is exactly what you were talking about. Like the people that it's kind of like effortless. Like
Right.
it's not something you have to like work so hard and strenuous and just like ditch everyone and forget about the world and just you're in your zone. And you're like putting your head down. Like to me, that's not success. That's misery. Looking back now, like wow. And that's not, I mean, everybody's definition of success is different. Like, I've just really learned that firsthand with doing the interview series that we were doing. And it's really, really cool. But at least from what I have seen and everything, and we all have our different interpretations of what success is. But I think it has to come full circle.
Right.
Success is about happiness too. So
The thing I like in my life, at least, like, no matter how much stuff I got going on, I know how to balance everything with everyone. And I know a lot of people can't balance stuff out. And I don't know if it's just a self thing that each person has to learn on their own. But when it comes to me, I like having some kind of balance. And because it's not fair to everybody else, that I may be too busy for them or they may be too busy for me. So I see it as a way of trying to help myself out, saying that I gave it all as much as I could to balance relationships, friendships, business relationships, and work. Not trying to put more than the other. And so far up to this point, it's worked for me. And so when my friend told me this last Monday, I was like, you're willing to lose a friendship over a video game? And when he said yes, that's when I was like, I'm out.
yeah. Would you think that it may have like become an addiction, because we get addicted to things like it's just like the success thing. Like when you are trying to just do it full force so hard, you're like addicted to that state of achievement, like getting to the next level or getting to in a video game, I guess, sense, or in life sense.
It's been an addiction to him for so long. Not last year, the year before that, I've had to help him get presents for his own baby because he didn't have money to do it, because he put all his money into the gaming.
It's really intriguing.
Yeah.
There's been times where I've actually helped him pay like bills to keep his power on, stuff like that. And he's been like, oh, I'll pay you back. He's actually brought it up to me a month ago. And he said, tell me how much you owe me or I owe you, and I'll pay you back, And I said, well, you don't have to. He says, no, I want to. I was like, fine, if you insist, then this is how much you owe me. Never heard from him after that.
Well, I'm sorry for your loss
week.
And everybody else that it was affected by, because I know it was kind of hard for you.
Oh, Joel, everyone copes differently. I know when it comes to him, it was sudden to the point to where I didn't even know what happened. And from what I understood is he's actually been gone for months, like May 10th 2016, and we just found out July 1st.
Wow.
So I've had people come up to me and saying, I need to talk about this to someone. I was like, well, it's kind of hard for me to talk to people when it comes to stuff like that, only because I cope with things differently. I cope with things a lot differently. And it's not because I don't want to show any kind of emotion or anything like that. I just can't. When I lose somebody, I can't do it. I can't be around it. Like, I know it may sound weird, or, you know, I'm not trying to think all about myself or anything like that, but when it comes to situations like that, though, I cope on my own terms. And when people say, oh, they want to talk about it, I went into the room, I posted a video of the memorial for him, and then I left.
Wow.
When you're right, everybody does cope in their own way, and there's nothing wrong with that, Sam, at all. I mean, we're all made differently.
So, like I said, it's an unfortunate loss for people that knew him. At the end of the day, though, like, I have a ton of videos from him that I plan on building, like making a collage video of just all his funny moments and everything, because that's all it is moments of him being funny and just random moments. And it's good that I caught all those glimpses all the way up from earlier May to last September, I think. So I have video clips of each month in the past. So
it's cool. Appreciate what you got. What's that saying? Be grateful for what you have while you have it, or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then again, too, like he had he had a hard time dealing with seizures, and that's what I think honestly got him. Like, he just had one of those seizures, because I don't know if you know a lot of people that have had like severe seizures or anything like that. I've known someone that put him into an induced coma because how bad it was. And that's the only thing I could think of.
Well, don't video games sometimes trigger seizures because of
it wasn't him. It was a different person.
Oh, a different person. Okay.
Different people.
Okay.
Joel, he's from Blab. The other guy, my old friend of mine, from like years ago. So, but
I heard that video games can cause that too. Also, light shows.
Yeah.
Light shows.
The way that affects the brain, right?
Yeah. So, I remember having to. My bedroom consists of a lot of different kind of lightings and stuff, and there was one night I had a strobe light going, and my sister is really highly bad when it comes to seizures. She could get it just by flashing lights real fast and strobe lights, stuff like that. And she walked into my room and immediately got a headache. And I was like, hold on, you should have knocked first or something. You know, it wasn't intentional, nothing like that. So I was like, we made a social experiment video, which is also on YouTube, with Ricky Prime. It's on YouTube. It was fun. So that's all I gotta say.
So, okay, Andrea, thank you so much for all that you've contributed tonight too. It's been really, I love it when people come on and they're just awesome like that. Like, it makes this all worth it. Absolutely. So do you guys have anything else to add before we wrap up?
I like this statement that Andrea talked about. It's important to define what actually makes us happy. What does it really look like for you? I think that's a very simple exercise, but very meaningful exercise,
Yeah.
to really tune in to how, certain things affect you. I notice that some of the happiest times of my day are when I get up early in the morning and I go for a walk with my dog. And just you know, that little snippet of time, it's funny because I'll say to myself, I'm really happy right now. And it's like, how can I have more joyful moments, create more joyful moments in my life like that?
Mm-hmm.
And instead of kind of the old model I had was like, deprive yourself of all this stuff because of the sacrifice. And then when you get the big prize at the end, then you'll be happy. I think that, there's a kind of a misguided perception on my side of following them. And then now I'm following this new paradigm where it's like, look at the little things along the way and still joyfully pursue stuff. Right. But still, I mean, it doesn't cost me anything. I just go hang out with my dog for half an hour, and she's the best. And I just love that time. So I think it is important, and not to overlook just the little things.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, again, too, like the best thing to be happy about should be waking up every morning.
Right.
Yeah.
That you're able to
What an
be
opportunity,
alive.
right? Oh my gosh, I have another
Because
opportunity.
that day right there is already successful because you woke up. And it's up to you to build your success on waking up. So, I mean, just by waking up in general, it should make everyone happy.
Right.
Because no matter what you go through, somebody is probably not waking up that same morning as you. They may have had goals or plans to achieve things, but they can't do that anymore. So, as me being able to wake up, at least I could achieve something that I can do and not worry about, or, not feel bad that, oh, I'm having a horrible day today. Look at them. They wasn't able to wake up. So every morning should be a good morning, a good day.
Yeah. I agree. In Korea culture, every year people stand to greet the sunrise. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Well, Sam, do you want to go ahead and close this out? Since I started, or I can close out. All right, Alice, shoot, you know the show well enough. You could close out too.
Oh gosh. Thank you for everyone that joined us today. We really are very thankful that you took the time out of your busy days to share your ideas and thoughts and your presence with us. And be sure and come back and join us again. We sure would love to have you. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Well said.